But it will be very punishment.
Are we ready, sir? Good evening, everyone. This is the November 25th, 2024 council meeting of the city of Crescent Springs. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, we come here today to do the work of the city, make our minds clear, let us do things that are the best of our residents and those that visit here every day. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Roll call, please.
Mark Wartenberger.
Here.
Janine Bell Smith.
Present.
Brian Barclay.
Here.
Don Kiley.
Here.
Bob Mueller.
Here.
Carol McGowan.
Here.
Thank you. First on the agenda, let's do the minutes for the October 28th meeting. You all received those. Is
Make a motion to approve.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bob Mueller.
Yes.
Carol McGowan.
Yes.
Don Kiley.
Yes.
Brian Barclay.
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith.
Yes.
Mark Wartenberger.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We're going to do Mr. Chamberlain, we're going to just bump you for just a minute, sir. With us this evening is Will McClanahan. If you'd like to come up, Will. So Will has achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Just come on up here and turn around. A rank that is very hard to achieve. It takes a lot of dedication and perseverance and leadership and management skills, quite honestly, to get to that point. So we'd like to honor Will here this evening with a proclamation. It's a proclamation awarded by Mike Doherty, Mayor, City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky. All those now present shall hear, whereas the Eagle Scout rank is the highest and most prestigious honor in the Boy Scouts of America program, earned by those who demonstrate exemplary leadership, dedication, and a commitment to serving their communities. And whereas Will McClanahan, a dedicated member of the Boy Scouts of America, has demonstrated exceptional perseverance and hard work in completing the rigorous requirements of the Eagle Scout rank, starting with a scouting journey in first grade and achieving this prestigious recognition on September 11th, 2024. And whereas Will's Eagle Scout Court of Honor was held on November 8th, 2024, marking a significant milestone in his scouting career and in his journey as a young leader in our community. And whereas, in order to earn the Eagle Scout rank, Will undertook a community service project that exemplified his dedication to giving back to the community that shaped him. Will chose to support the Villa Hills Longhorns softball and baseball organization, where he played for 8 years. His project involved the design and construction of 8 pitcher mounds at Franzen's and Villa Madonna Fields, completed in March of 2024, just before the start of the 2024 baseball and softball season. This thoughtful and impactful contribution continues to serve local youth athletes and enriches our community. And whereas Will is currently a sophomore at Covington Catholic High School, where he is active member of the cross-country team and track teams, and he participates in the CCH NDA band. His academics and extracurricular pursuits demonstrate a well-rounded and committed young leader. And whereas as a freshman, Will earned a varsity letter in community service for completing over 100 hours of service, showcasing his ongoing commitment to helping others and making a positive impact on those around him. And now, therefore, I, Mike Doherty, Mayor of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim November 25th, 2024 as Will McClanahan Day in honor of his achievement as an Eagle Scout, his leadership, his community service, and his dedication to making a difference in the lives of others. We celebrate Will's accomplishments and look forward to the future contributions he will continue to make in our town, his school, and community. Hereby given under my hand this 25th day of November 2024. get to come around here often. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Exceptional job well done.
Thank you.
Now on with the regular agenda. Our audit presentation, Mr. Chamberlain.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I was auditing or reporting at the city of Ellesmere a couple of years ago, and I had to follow two police officers who were given her badges for heroism. And then the next year I show up there, and they've got these little girls that had won a poster contest. And then I said, if I come in next year and you have puppies, I'm leaving. And I can't follow an audit report or things like that. Anyway, John Chamberlain, I'm a CPA and partner at Chamberlain Owing Company. We're a CPA firm in Erlanger that specializes in audits of governmental entities. And we do appreciate the opportunity to work for the city of Crescent Springs again this year. You have a slide packet that we've prepared. That's what we're going to talk about. Mike wanted me to read all the financial statements like word for word, all 50 pages, but we thought in the interest of time, you probably better review those on your own. If you do have any questions about the financial statements, I am available to answer those questions as well. Well, let's go to the slide packet. The first slide's our audit opinion, and that's that the financial statements are fairly stated as of June 30th, 2024. This is what we call an unmodified opinion, meaning there's no modifications required to the opinion. And what that means is that your financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects with generally accepted accounting principles. The next slide is the auditor's report on internal control and compliance. And as part of every governmental audit, we do a review of your internal controls. We want to make sure that the riskiest assets of the city are protected through appropriate segregation of duties, that type of thing. And we do report on that. And if we saw no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in your internal controls, that we are required to report. As part of every governmental audit, we also review compliance. That would be compliance with Kentucky revised statutes, with any grant or debt agreements, federal payroll taxes, surge contributions that are required, anything like that. And we had no issues with non-compliance to report as well. As a part of your audit, we did provide a letter to the council, a governance letter, and it's a direct communication from us as the auditor to you as the council. It's required by our profession to provide this. Some of the highlights of that letter, we did not issue a management letter this year, so no management comments. That just means that we really couldn't nitpick you and find anything that we wanted you to fix. We do make two planned government-wide adjustments each year, and these are what we basically gross up your pension and OPEB in your financial statements, and we make those entries for you. The city does not make those entries in the funds. And then we had no adjustments to your funds. So Ben and April do a great job of making sure that all of your funds are updated. Ben comes in Ben Harrison CPA comes in at the end of the year and does all your end of the year adjustments. So we had no adjustments to make there. Let's get into some numbers, assets and cash comparison. Your total assets increased about $763,000 from 2023, while cash and cash equivalents actually decreased about $287,000. So you see your cash and cash equivalents there at $2.9 million compared to almost 3.2 in the prior year. Rule of thumb for cash reserves, the Government Finance Officers Association suggests for municipalities to have between 3 and 6 months of cash on hand. 3 months cash on hand would be about $783,000. That's about where that red arrow is there. 6 months would be about $1.5 million. You've got $2.9 million, so you've got about 11 months of cash reserve on hand. And that's very similar to fiscal year 23. So a strong cash position for the city. Next page is your liabilities comparison across the entire government. The yellow are your current liabilities. That includes your deferred Revenue, you've got deferred revenue for your opioid fund, about $16,000 that we're holding until you can really figure out how to use it. And so that's sitting in your deferred revenues. Red is your compensated absence liability. That's your absences for your employees that you would owe your employees. That's about $32,000. And then the orange is your net pension and OPEB liabilities. And I want you to take a look at that huge drop there this year. The pension is based, the actuarial basis of the pension is based on several things, and that is the growth in the number of people in the pension, number of jobs in the pension, your actual payroll growth, things like that, but also the market. And when the market's up, your pension liabilities are down. And so these are actually measured at June 30th, 2023. So they're about a year behind. And you can see that the pension and OPEB liabilities are down. In fact, for OPEB, you actually have a net asset for your OPEB. It's not even a liability. Net together, they're a liability. But you actually have a net pension asset for your OPEB, which is interesting. Or a net OPEB asset, I should say. So June 2024, the market was high again. It's remained high. So we expect these numbers to decrease again next year. The next slide is revenues versus expenditures. Your total revenues right at about $3.89 million. Total expenditures about $3.13 million. So that's a net $764,000 increase in fund balance for all funds. The revenue there, it actually looks down. It's down about $363,000 from last year, but you recognize $714,000 in ARPA funds last year for the coronavirus state and fiscal government funds that were passed on from the Department of Treasury. So you recognize about $714,000 of those funds in the prior year. You did not have those this year. Expenditures down about $635,000 from last year. And again, you expended about $1 million towards the firehouse last year. That was an additional expenditure last year outside of the course of your normal expenditures. So that's what makes those expenditures and revenues up in the prior year. So this year really back to where it is normal for the city. Revenues by source for all governmental funds. The revenue for the year ended June 30, 2024 was $3.895 million. Again, about an almost 8.59% decrease, about $363,000 down from 2023. Licenses and permits up about 3.2% at $1.958 million. And taxes, tax revenue, $1.379 million, about a 4.7% increase. Again, that's an increase in taxes with no increase in your rates. So it's just through valuation increases. Payroll tax, intergovernmental revenue down about $670,000. That's the ARPA funds that you did not expend this year. And then interest, and you made bank on interest this year up about $68,000 from the prior year. What is that? $148,000. I think it was $80,000 last year. So a significant increase in your interest income. Last slide, expenditures by department. Your total expenditures are $3.131 million, about a 16% decrease from the prior year. Police expenditures at $889,000, that's your largest expenditure, up about 21%. Public Works expenditures at $813,000, about a 10% increase. Your Fire Authority at $575,000, again a 62% decrease because of the $1 million contribution in the prior year. And then your capital outlay at $228,000, that's an $83,000, that's an 83%, increase. And you did it was up about $104,000 over last year. Eubanks Road wall reconstruction, Wood Hill Court sidewalk, Crowley Street storm sewer improvement, and your city building roof improvements on this building. So that's where your major capital expenditures are. These next couple of slides are just comparison over the last 7 years, and just want to show kind of you know, these numbers aren't necessarily spiraling out of control. They seem to be pretty reasonable increases. Again, 2024 for safety services, that's both police and fire combined at 1.4 million. Again, the 2.2 included $1 million for the firehouse last year. General government services, basically has changed very little over the last 7 years, down about 0.4% at 531,000. Public works expenditures, these tend to jump around a little bit based on the projects that are being done. And sometimes public works expenditures get picked up in capital projects too. So these tend to jump around a little bit, but at 813,000, 10% increase over the prior year. And then capital outlay, you see about 83% increase at $228,000, $140,000 increase over the prior year. Any questions on those slides? Again, you have the financial statements, the governance letter that we provided you, and I'm open to any questions that you have on any of those items.
None of the current council members were here in 2019. On the very last page that you spoke of,
This is going to
the
be,
capital outlay.
this is going to be hard.
Well, you may not know the answer, I'm sure. Any idea why that was so high?
I have no idea, but I might be able to find out if, April, were you here in 2019?
Yes. I believe it, we
Dump truck
had,
maybe? Yes, might have
would
been.
a truck been in capital outlay?
It would have been
Yes, we purchased a truck, a $150,000 truck in 2019.
Okay, thank you.
There you go, good job. I don't think that was all.
So, my question, general government, you kind of flew over it on slide 9. General government, that would fall like the park or just different things that fall outside of public safety and public works.
That's correct, right. Now, and in your financials, you're correct, it's, so it really goes to your statement of revenues and expenditures. Your general government, yeah, it doesn't include things like other contract services. So if you have, contracts for certain things, that's where you pay your, for your Bromley, the road service, where you contract for the Ludlow Bromley Road. Bromley, thank you. I'll get it in a minute. One of those up and down the hill. But like that's in that. But yeah, your park, you have a dog, animal here, probably us. I don't know what else is in there, April. I'm trying to think. It's more than just general government salaries. It's a lot of other things.
Which one was it?
Under general government.
General government on slide 9. The reason I ask is because you specifically said the park, right? And the park was just under $500,000. And then, but when you go later on in the slide 11, general government expenditures,
The park, yeah.
they're pretty flat year over year, actually decreasing for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
So
the
just
park, I
kinda
think the
define
park
the-
is in public works.
Okay, so yeah, just trying to.
Because that's in public works and recreation.
Okay, so yeah,
Sorry.
just trying to define what that bucket truly is.
Yeah, it's everything else. It's
It's administration, right? All
Right.
the administration.
It's all your administration, right? So it's everything, it's your attorney,
Contracts.
again, Ben, again, your dog catcher, you pay your
So
TV,
all
you pay
city
the
salaries.
PVA,
Right.
all those different things that you pay.
All the ones without other buckets.
Right.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, it is a bit of a catch.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just surprised because when you mentioned the park and then later it's flat and
Yeah,
decreasing.
park is, and I misspoke, park is in public works. Because it's public, the way you had this list is public works and recreation.
Oh,
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Mr. Chamberlain, we have a member of the audience that I think wanted to ask you a question. Did you, Mr. Flaherty?
Yeah,
Can you come up, please?
sure. Actually, I have a couple of questions, right? The first one is, the cash decrease was over 287,000. Why is that?
Why?
Yeah,
Why did the cash decrease?
Yeah, what was the reason for that? You never had as much cash, but why? Was it tax or what?
No, I couldn't tell you exactly.
You know what?
You spent more
Yeah.
cash.
You didn't have as
Change,
much come in?
change in payables, you know, could be anything.
Okay.
I don't know off the top
Is
of
it
my
in the
head.
auditor report?
Not at that level of detail, no, absolutely.
Okay, the second.
Not a why. It's that it decreased, but not necessarily detailed why.
The second one I have is you mentioned that cash reserves should be 3 to 6 months.
Per the Government Finance Officers
Yeah.
Association.
Is that in writing in the auditor's report?
Is that in writing in the
Is it
report?
in the auditor's
No.
report? No. And the other-
And that's a recommendation by an organization that's a non-binding, non-governmental organization. So it's, but, you know, there is no law about what your cash reserve can be. So that's the best we can do. Actually.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
And the last one is, there's a 21% increase in police expenses.
Mhm.
Do you know the reason for that?
More than likely, increase from Bill Hills and increase in service costs. Certain the pension.
Oh, okay.
Pension costs, you know, especially for the hazardous, you know, they continue to.
Would that be in the auditor's report? I mean, I can look it up, I don't need to take any more of your time.
It's not.
Not in the auditor's report?
Probably not, but, you know.
I believe we
Well, yeah, we
police
can't-
ordered cameras, new cameras last year.
Yeah, one of the biggest purchases that we had a couple things. We had our
This is the
Axon
main
camera, which is the fleet car camera systems for all of our vehicles. We also have tasers as well and body cameras. The other thing that we did is we had some changes as far as retirees leaving out from the police department and hiring in officers that are now full benefits. So where we don't get the benefit of having a retiree, or we don't pay a retirement system, as Mr. Chamberlain said, we are now having to contribute into a retirement and medical benefits as well.
Okay,
So
all
that's
right. Thank you. Thank you.
And also the contract changed mid-year.
Yeah, the contract change, did that formula have anything to do with the increase?
I mean, our responsibility increased because of the renegotiation. That's why Villa Hills came and said that if we didn't revisit the table, they were gonna walk in a year, so we had to do that. That could explain probably, Matt, what do you think, 50–60% of the increase right there? Yeah, so I mean, between tasers and training and a new police contract, that's,
Well, just one point of clarification. You really did not have to cave into what Bill Hood said. You could have put out a request for proposal.
oh, absolutely, I agree, 100% agree.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Chamberlain? Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thanks, John.
Chief Wayne.
Good evening, everyone. 52 fire calls for October, 456 year to date, 102 ambulance calls, 1,032 year to date. The new ambulance, the transmission went out. It was out of service for about a week. It was fully replaced in our warranty, so that's good news. And the cheapest party at the firehouse, if you're all invited to, is December 17th at 7 p.m.
Did you say the new ambulance transmission went out?
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes. And it's fortunate that it was the new ambulance because that's under warranty.
Under warranty.
Right. One other thing I forgot, so our air packs, I've written a grant through FEMA for the last 4 years. We were unsuccessful with that grant. The life of the air packs are 15 years. Next year will be the 15th year, so they will need to be replaced. We did get quotes between $200,000 and $255,000 to replace all of our air packs. So I'm working with Jim Cahill now to try and get that into the budget. But it is quite an expensive thing, but it is obviously very important. That's our are breathing air in a fire. So we will we'll see what we can do about getting that into the budget.
Your day for shop with the cop and fireman, is that December 11th?
It is December 11th. I wasn't going to steal Chief
And then,
Hall's.
And they're wrapping at the firehouse?
Yes, the same as we did at the old firehouse. They'll wrap in the meeting room, and the kids will eat and meet Santa in that breakfast bay.
Sorry to steal your thunder.
That's okay. The shot with copy and fire.
I said that.
Anything else, Chief Wentz? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Hall.
Good evening, everybody. Don't mind my boot. If anybody has any particular questions, I did send everything out. I will go over just some of the highlights and the department news that we have. Our two newest officers, Officer Schneider and Chief Nelly, have been released from field training, and they are out on their sole patrol. If you do happen to run into them, please send them away with all fingers preferred. December 11th is Shop with the Cop and Fireman. If anybody is wanting to volunteer for the wrapping, I believe, Chief, where they do about 5:30.
Yes.
Meet up at the firehouse, and they can help with that, any kind of setup. So we are looking for a great opportunity. One of my favorite days that we have in law enforcement and of the year. We had some asset forfeiture orders, total come back for approximately $7,000. That went back into that goes into our asset forfeiture fund. That's just from different drug cases and investigations that we've completed. I attended my required Department of Criminal Justice Training Police Executive Command course. We have instituted a Narcan policy. We are now currently carrying Narcan for the officers. They are assigned to our AED boxes, so we are carrying Narcan that is available not only for our residents, but also for our officers as well. Sergeant Black attended a FLETC firearms training. We did have our promotional exam that was administered. The oral awards are going to be on December 9th for the remaining candidates that passed the test. So we'll have a new supervisor shortly thereafter. I'll be able to announce. I did attend on November the 18th. I did attend a meeting over at KYTC about the Brent Spitz Bridge project that's coming up, and they're about 30%. It's really rough as far as their estimate on time. There is no time frame on that right now, but they're approximately 30% done with their planning phase. So they've roped in police chiefs, fire chiefs, and some local people trying to, in comparison to where we had our bridge closure, and not 471, but where the fire a couple years ago, we weren't able to plan for that closure, so we had to kind of go on the fly. This opportunity, we have a chance to plan for some things. We're trying to work with fire departments, our emergency responses for things on the interstate, whether it's going to be contra lanes, how wide are contra lanes, how high bridge walls, and things like that. So they're offering us to have input into that, so we're taking full advantage of that. So they're going to rope us in each step of the way, but there are no set plans on time frame yet, just before anybody knows. Chief, you can also dive in on this next one. On October 8th, officers Stephan and Officer Dooley, along with the fire department, responded to a non-breathing subject at Petco. They located the subject. Long story short, the gentleman that was down and needed to have AED pads put on. The pads were not able to be placed on the gentleman's chest due to his hairiness, I'll just put it that way. So the razors that are provided in the AED kits were not sufficient. By quick thinking of the officers on scene and fire department on scene, the officer really went inside Petco, grabbed the dog shears, and came out and was able to have spots for the AED pads to be placed and had a full recovery for the patient. So they received awards at the last fire authority meeting, along with the members of the fire department as well. Kudos to the officers for quick thinking, and the fire department also always for their professional responses.
And also that now the ambulance has shears on them,
Which is great.
has clippers. I have a question.
Sorry.
The asset forfeiture fund, is there a document in place where that goes, what it goes to? Does it just go back to your general fund?
No, it's not. It's asset forfeiture fund is a separate fund that is solely used by the police department, and there is a list that's laid out by KRS on what it's able to be used for.
Okay.
So it does not go back in the general fund. Anything for asset forfeiture has to go into the asset forfeiture fund. So it's its own dedicated bank account.
And how much is sitting in there right now? I know you just got 7. So.
I think we're right around 14,000.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks.
Anything else for the chief?
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. Fortunately, Director Miller can't be here this evening. So next up will be the mayor's report. I do have a few things. First, that the surplus merchandise that we approved for sale last month is currently being sold on Gov Deals through December 3rd. I know that I was posted on Facebook with the link. Rumpke's track schedule was picked up the same for this week and for Christmas. It's all the same. Christmas in the Park, December 14th, 5:30 to 8:30. And for the members of council, there was some city officials orientation in Southgate on December 19th, 5:30 to 8:30. Please see April if you need information on that. And I know this is going to break everybody's heart, but since our next scheduled meeting is Christmas Eve, we will not have a meeting in December. Lastly, Mr. Baker has 2 items to discuss about some litigation.
Thank you, Mayor, and let me stress this is basically status for me to inform you, not a status for discussion, since we are in litigation. The first is this afternoon, I received from our counsel in the appeal from John Huffman's lawsuit over the height of the flagpole, that they have filed their brief with the Kentucky Court of Appeals. This will then now sets a schedule for the city and the Board of Adjustment, who are both represented by Jeff Mando through Kentucky League of Cities Insurance, to file a brief in response, which is more or less about 30 days. I'm not sure how the holidays impact that exact date, but there will be a response brief filed. That will be followed by I believe it's a 15-day period for the appellant to file a reply brief, and then the Court of Appeals will either set it for hearing or make a decision. Timing on that is completely at the discretion of the Court of Appeals. Second matter I wish to bring to council's attention is the city has been served with a lawsuit by a Jonathan Pickard, who is a resident of the city. This concerns allegations of failure of a sidewalk. There are multiple defendants, most of them related to construction business. The city has named a party. Again, Jeff Mando is representing the city through the Kentucky League of Cities. If any of you are approached for any reason about that or any other litigation for that matter, I urge you to simply decline to talk about it and let me know. I believe all communication should be through Mr. Mando. If anybody wants to take some type of testimony, then again, that will be through Mr. Mando. And that's the way the system works, and that's the way we should keep it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is swearing in of new council members.
Hey, sorry, did you say there's no December meeting?
There's no December meeting.
It's the 23rd though?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I have the date wrong? Is it New Year's Eve instead of Christmas Eve? Did I have the date wrong possibly?
I think it would be December 23rd.
They're on the same day of the week every year. I'm looking at the calendar, 23rd is a Monday.
That's correct.
Right.
So what are we not doing?
We're not having our council meeting on Christmas, on the 23rd. It's the day before Christmas Eve. We're not doing it, council
Because
meeting on
the
the 23rd.
23rd is 2. Okay. Okay.
Jeff, would you come up front, please? This is so you can read along. Since we got the chart.
The most important part of this is the duel.
Yeah. Everyone raise your right hand. I want to stand up too. solemnly swear or affirm, as the case may be, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
and that I will faithfully execute, to the best of my ability, the office of City Council for the City of Crescent Springs, according to law and according to the ordinances and regulations of the City of Crescent Springs,
And that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office of City Council for the City of Crescent Springs, according to law and according to the ordinances and regulations of the City of Crescent Springs.
and I do further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
And I do further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons,
I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons,
within this state nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
In this state.
Within the state nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help me God.
to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help me God.
Congratulations, and may the record reflect that each of the sworn-in members in fact recited the oath, even though not necessarily all were heard.
Congratulations.
If you would sign those and get those back to me, I would appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I have two small items, and I will move through them rather quickly. Number one is the 2425 street paving program. We had the open for bid recommendations last week on the 19th. I have listed the three companies that put in bids. The engineer has recommended the regular blacktop bid. We will have the reading in January of 2025 at the council meeting for this. And I've listed the streets there for you to look at that are part of this bid. Second thing, Old Crescent Springs preliminary engineering study. This is an ongoing analysis, obviously to evaluate traffic patterns in the area. Greg is working currently right now on the right-of-way evaluation of this study. Once Greg has this information completed, I will schedule a meeting with Brian and Carol. And I do believe Mayor Doherty has another gentleman that would like to be on the working group as well.
Who lives in that section of town?
Once we go through the working group, Greg would like to come to a council meeting and present to all of us. And that's all I have, Mayor Doherty, for my report.
Any questions for Mr. Daly? Thank you, sir. Any old business? New business. Mr. Baker, ordinance, or municipal order 2024-12.
Thank you, Mayor. Municipal Order 2024-12, a municipal order of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to enter into a stormwater public cost share program agreement with Sanitation District Number 1, SD1. Whereas the City Council of Crescent Springs has previously authorized repairs to portions of Harris Street located in the city. And whereas SD1 has agreed to provide partial funding for the repair through the Stormwater Public Cost Share Program Agreement. And whereas SD1 maintains the storm sewer systems throughout northern Kentucky, including the city of Crescent Springs, and whereas SD1 has proposed to the city that a Stormwater Public Cost Share Program Agreement be entered into, and whereas the city has determined that entering into an agreement which is sharing the cost of repair will benefit the citizens of the city of Crescent Springs. Now therefore, be it ordered by the mayor and the city council of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, the SD1 Stormwater Public Cost Share Program Agreement, so that the repairs to Harris Street in the city of Crescent Springs can be made and completed.
Thank you, sir. Just a reminder for everybody, this is money that SD1 has that we can work together with to supplement some of our expenses into the Harris Street repair. And it's just authorized me to sign that so we can get our money.
What's the cost split?
April, do you have that?
Leave there.
It's about $12,556 from SB1 that we're getting.
And we're, yeah, but then we're paying,
Total's
Paying
about
20%.
okay. So we're paying for
It was about 24,000. And I believe MRA was 74,000. And then SD1 covers what?
the whole project is around 100,000. We've got 75,000 from MRA funding, 12,000 from this, so the city's paying approximately 12,000, 14,000.
MRA is our money too, right?
Those emergency.
Emergency funding,
Oh,
it's
right.
a grant.
First.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bob Mueller. Bob Mueller.
Yes.
Carol McGowan.
Yes.
John Kylie.
Yes.
Mark Wurtenberger.
Yes.
Brian Barclay.
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Any committee reports? Any resident comments? Hearing nothing, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And so we have two. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you all.
You all have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.